Shall we? Let's see what we're asking you this morning. And that is, what are your thoughts on marijuana being legalized for private use? I know that one's going to get you talking, so let's get those phones out. Let's get your smartphones and fingers tapping this morning. You can get hold of us at Morning Live SABC, hashtag Morning Live. What are your thoughts on marijuana being legalized for private use? Remember, private use, that's the big word there in that question. All right, look forward to sharing some of those tweets with you. Let's look at the big stories of the day now. And the Constitutional Court is expected to hand down judgment in the battle to legalize the private use of marijuana. And that is on the back of the question we're asking you this morning. So we'll find out what the Constitutional Court says. But just ahead of that, let's get a sense of how South Africans feel. Do you want it legalized or not? Now, the DA is expected to announce its Western Cape Premier candidate. A successor to outgoing Cape Town Mayor Patricia de Lille is also expected to be announced today. You know that was the big story to come out over the weekend for the DA, where they put candidate leader of the DA, Musi Maimane, forward as the Western Cape Premier candidate. And the big announcement expected today. So we'll see if all of this is according to plan, as weekend papers and the rumours are doing the rounds. 2 women are expected to appear in court on child neglect charges following the burning to death of 4 children after they were allegedly left alone in Alexandra. A story we've got in our news, a devastating story that we have this morning. And the police minister, Bheki Cele, is expected to visit University of Zululand. Now, this after a student was stabbed to death over the weekend. The suspect in the case is also in a serious condition after he was attacked by a group of students following that stabbing incident. Okay, we're moving on to Twitter now and find out what was trending yesterday and this morning. Standard Bank bombshells being dropped left, right and centre at the state capture inquiry. Goodness gracious me, this was a massive testimony that was held yesterday. Don't you all agree we should be having a 24-hour state capture channel? I think we can fill it with content, that I can promise you. So the big story there basically saying that how ANC and some cabinet ministers basically tried to get Standard Bank to reverse the decision to close the Gupta accounts. They basically pinpointed Standard Bank, saying that they had a meeting with ANC NEC members Gwede Mantashe, Jesse Duarte and Enoch Godongwana. This was at Luthuli House. They also had another meeting with then Minister Mosebenzi Zwane. He was in charge of mining. And present at that meeting was Zwandile Manye. And that is why Zwandile Manye is trending as well. Many people asking that question, what was Manye doing at a Standard Bank meeting to do with government bank accounts and Gupta bank accounts? I mean, that was the reason behind all of that. So lots and lots of questions once again being raised at the state capture inquiry. So those are those 2 topics. COSATU Congress also trending, and that's going to be happening for the next 3 days. So it started yesterday. It's a 4-day conference. We saw our president taking to the podium yesterday and addressing the COSATU Congress, and he was talking, as you heard in the news, and he's also a big trending topic. Those that are allegedly trying to plot against him and get him out of the position must come forward and speak out and tell the nation what their agenda is. That's what the president said yesterday. And he also spoke to the COSATU Congress, saying that there are not any plans in place to retrench 30,000 workers. So those are just some of the things to come out of the COSATU Congress. Remember, we will be crossing line to our reporter. I'm not sure who's covering it for us today, but I'll certainly get an update as to who our reporter is, and we'll get crossings from them. Okay, now, other trending topics. I think these ones get a little bit more fun, less serious now. You can see iOS 12 is trending. Now, this is normal. This always happens when there's an update for your Apple. If you don't have an Apple device, you, I suppose, won't understand the big fuss behind all of this. But I'm not necessarily interested in the update of the iOS. What I'm interested in is what they've actually added onto the phone now. they've actually got a little part of the phone called screen time. Now, what screen time does is it measures how much time you spend on your cell phone. So it'll actually measure in minutes and hours how much you spend on, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever it may be, and you can either set a time limit and say, okay, I only want an hour on social media, which, believe me, you think is a lot, but at the end of the day you've probably spent about 6 hours on social media, and believe me, it's the truth, because you don't realize how much time. But what they've done now is they've introduced this where it'll actually automatically shut down and it won't allow you to use social media anymore, or whatever your time limits are. You can change them, but it's really interesting to see and then measure at the end of the day how much time you spend on these devices. Quite scary, isn't it? Let's see if we're brave enough to initiate that screen time part of the phone. So the whole idea is to stop spending so much time on your smartphones, but whether it works or not, I'm not sure. Okay, then finally, the legend herself, Betty White, is trending. And, oh no, Emmys, I beg your pardon. And one of the reasons is, I'll tell you one of the big reasons that Betty White is trending is because she came onto stage there and at the Emmys. Can you believe this woman is 96 years old? She is 96, and there was a standing ovation, second to none, as she walked out onto that stage, and people just went crazy for her, and she was just fantastic. I think she had a real moment there where she just said, give up a moment to be in front of a crowd at 96 years old? Never. So the First Lady of TV receiving a standing ovation at the Emmys, and that's what she looks like. Isn't it incredible? And then finally, another interesting twist that took place at the Emmys last night was, for the very first time, a streaming service has also topped the honors for the most awards won. And what streaming service I'm talking about is Netflix. So HBO, as you know, that's exactly what it is. Any other network channel has come the same time and has won the same amount of awards as Netflix, which is a streaming channel. And this is something incredible, shows you the way the future is going. For the first time ever, Netflix actually got the most nominations for its programs. 112 nominations is how much it got, compared to HBO, which got 108. And also Amazon, their streaming service, winning 8 Emmys. So it shows you where the world is moving in terms of streaming. And I suppose networks need to get worried, shouldn't they? And that's the end of our trending topics for this morning and today.